It does have an air. It has a runway. I don't know that it would be as equivalent to Alligator Alcatraz because the runway is not as big. You may be able to move people right out of there, but you do have Cecil Field that's very close to that. So when we look at this, it's really what makes logistical sense. Again, I'm not creating the Four Seasons for illegal aliens. I'm not detaining just to detain. Like, that is not what we're doing it because there's a process involved for deport. Even the ones that have had the final order of removal, which is most of the people at Alligator Alcatraz, there still is some process that goes through that. So if it's detain, go through the process, and then be able to remove, that's something that we have an interest in being able to help facilitate to be able to increase those numbers. So I think Blanding would have the capacity to do a couple thousand. We initially were planning on just kind of opening that right away, but what I noticed as it was coming, DHS was sending people to South Florida, but we thought it'd be a little bit more, and then we waited for the flight, and the flights have started. So we want to get a sense of that cadence, I think, because yes, we're getting reimbursed for this, and so any of these people that are complaining about the money, the state's getting reimbursed. It's this is money that was actually going to paying for them to be in hotels in Manhattan. So I think most people would say it's better for this than for that, but that's a federal call. It's a policy decision that they've made. So you shouldn't really worry about that. But at the same time, it's like, to be doing this, if it's not leading to real significant cadence in removals, then I'm going to wait for that. Now, if I have confidence that it will, and I think it will eventually, once that happens, then we'll go. And so Kevin Guthrie's ready. I know that they did put out the bids for it. I don't think that they've awarded the bids because we want to make sure that we know kind of what's on the horizon. The cadence is picked up down in South Florida, but we want to make sure that we're doing that. And here's the thing: as the cadence picks up, your capacity effectively expands dramatically because people will be in for a short period of time and then they go, so you can constantly backfill. So if you got a couple thousand spots, it's not like it's the static couple thousand people indefinitely. It's ideally would be you go in and then you get out pretty quickly, and that's our objective. And we remind people, we do have options for you to short circuit that whole process if you're here illegally and simply go home on your own with the ticket. Now you'll be escorted. You're going to make sure you get on the plane, and there will be oversight. You're not going to be able to abscond, but you will be able to return to your home country without having to go through all this. My view on it is, look.
All right, first and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakaha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who I learned from. Shalom to the hopeful elect, preaching his word in truth and sincerity. To you ribs, to you sisters out there learning in silence and staying in order, I say to you all, Shalom. Right, Alligator Alcatraz. Right, the scriptures say, there is nothing new under the sun. This man is a avid supporter of Trumpito, aka Nero. This guy is hanging off, Trumpito's sack. For the longest. And, he couldn't wait to do something like this. Right? This is like Esau's fantasy. To be able to legally do things like this to Jake. Right? He's talking about, that they're going to let them go eventually, and they're able to return to their, to their countries. Right? But in the meanwhile, they're going to have fun with it. Right, just like Guantanamo Bay, they did the same thing to the Afghanistans. The people from Pakistan, Afghanistan, to try to get information out of them, and they was getting innocent people. And they would torture them to get information out of them. But the information eventually, right, when they was torturing them for weeks and months on end, they eventually tried to give them information that they really didn't have just to try to get out of it because they were tired of being tortured. So they gave them what they wanted to hear. You know, they'll say lies and then, you know, try to get out of there. There's people spending at least 10, 15 years of straight torture. Right, but this is Esau, man. Esau, he devises wicked schemes, man. In fact, let me get some scriptures. This is Isaiah chapter 32, verse 7. The instruments also of the churl are evil. Right, that word churl goes into scoundrel, right? A conniving, evil person, which is Esau Edom. It says he devises wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words. Right? He says he's doing this to help, you know, the American people, and you know, to help economy, and that it's not going to cost anything. That this is perfectly legal and necessary, right? Just to get, you know, just to get his fixation on murder, blood. You know what I'm saying? Torture. Right? He gets a kick out of this. It says even when the needy speaketh right. Right? A lot of these people who got families, have not committed any crimes, have paid taxes into this country and got no benefit from doing that. Right? Because a lot of these so-called illegals are paying into the tax system and never be able to get anything out of it. Right? And when some of these people will say, hey man, this country was ours before, you know, any of y'all was even out here. You know, half of America was Mexico's. Northern Kingdom had this side, this whole land here belongs to the Northern Kingdom, and they're being kicked out. Right? But their cries and their frustrations are falling on deaf ears. This is Zechariah chapter 1 verse 15. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen. Right? The Lord is not happy with what's going on, man, because the Lord had already punished us. Right? But these people took it way too far, man. They took it far and enjoyed doing it. Right? It says, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased. And they helped forward the affliction. Right? You know, the Lord set a punishment. Right? Let's say, hey man, you get in your corner, sit down in your chair. But Esau, you know, made you kneel on bottle caps, and you know, and started whipping you and throwing salt on wounds. Like he made it worse, more than he should have, right? But this is the crooked of the earth, right? The scriptures in Ecclesiastes says, who can make that straight, who the Lord made crooked? Right? This is a perfect evil man, and he has to pay for these crimes. And he will pay for these crimes. Right? He's doing what they say in the world, he's doing too much. This is Lamentations chapter 4. In verse 21, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. Right? So this is pertaining to the children of Esau that dwelleth in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Right? Whatever you did to the children of Israel, you're going to reap. You know, your scriptures say you reap what you sow. Right? And you're gonna get double. It says the cup also shall pass through thee unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. Right? The pride of their heart has deceived these people, man. You know, we're in a time where Esau's, you know, debauchery and all that is being exposed, man. It's being exposed for years now. Right? And they see how it's going, because now they're passing anti-Shem laws, right? Anti-small hat laws that you can't even speak on them. But it's too late. The information's already out. right? Verse 22, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion, right? It's talking about Israel, right? Your punishment is already finished, man. You have served your sentence. It says, he will no longer more carry thee into captivity, right? He will visit thine iniquity. This is talking about future connotations, right? When the Lord will give us rest from thy sorrow, you know what I'm saying, and vexation of heart. It says he will visit thine iniquity, right? He's going to come see Esau, right? It says, O daughter of Edom, he will discover thy sins, right? And then the scriptures talk about how Yahweh is going to, visit these places. Garments going to be, drenched in blood. Right? Scriptures in Isaiah says, who is this that cometh from Basra with dyed garments? That's all the bloodshed that Esau, you know what I'm saying? That's all the bloodshed from Esau, man. The Lord's going to utterly destroy this person, man. And call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai for that, man. You know, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who I learned from. Shalom to the for elect, preaching his word in true sincerity. And to you ribs, to you sisters out there learning in silence and staying in order, I say to you all, Shalom.